Today we will start talking about fetal circulation before and after birth. Blood in the umbilical blood in the placenta will be carried out through the umbilical vein, which carries about which is about 80% oxygenated with oxygen. It will pass through the umbilical vein from the placenta, from the maternal circulation exactly, to the placenta. It will pass through the umbilical vein by the umbilical vein to the liver by umbilical vein. In the liver, it will be two things will occur. Some of it will pass through the ductus venosus, which will bypass the liver or acting like a shunt, and other will be mixed with the portal circulation and sinusoid of the liver, and from there, from the liver sinusoid and from the ductus venosus will pass to the inferior vena cava, and then from there will be carried out to the left atrium. Some of it will pass through the shunt, another shunt, which is the foramen ovale, to the right side of the heart. Others will pass through the left side or the left ventricle. From there will be pushed to the aorta, and there is no placenta, no lung, as we remember here, because there is lung and pulmonary circulation still is not acting. Pulmonary circulation will start acting when the fetus taking first breath. From the right side of the heart will be pushed to the aorta, to the ascending aorta, then descending aorta. Here blood in this part, this is the violet color, it is deoxygenated blood. So the blood in the lower part of the body, in the lower limbs, lower part of the body, from the descending aorta passes to the umbilical arteries. It will be taken out by the two umbilical arteries back to the placenta for complete the fetal circulation. Exactly, you get what we mean by fetal circulation. It is a circulation that promotes taking and shifting of nutrients in and out of the baby between the maternal and fetal circulation. So this diagram shows exactly what's occurring in the lower part of the body. As we said, a deoxygenated blood in the descending aorta, abdominal aorta, and common iliac umbilical arteries, placenta. Then it will carried out from the placenta when will be shifted with the maternal circulation, which carries out nutrient and oxygen, which is about 80% saturated with oxygen. It will be carried out to the umbilical vein and so on. So the fetal circulation will continue. So this diagram shows to you exactly what's occurring in the fetal circulation. The blue color arteries, the umbilical vein exactly, carries the oxygenated blood, and the violet colors, which are two umbilical arteries, and these are aorta and other ascending, descending aorta, all carried out the deoxygenated blood, and there are mixing of blood in certain areas, remixing. So this is exactly what we said by fetal circulation. Two umbilical arteries which carries oxygenated blood and waste to the placenta, and one umbilical vein which carries oxygenated blood and nutrients from the placenta. Placenta is important. It is an important organ. As I said before, it is the lung of the baby, so it facilitates gas, nutrient, and waste exchange between the maternal and fetal blood. Maternal and fetal blood do not mix, okay? And small particles, toxins, drugs can also carried out to the baby. So giving drugs is very important. You should think of safety of the baby. I want to show what's occurring. This is the placenta. As we said, the placenta is the lung for the baby, and you see the heart, the lower part of the bodies, the blood where to take and to and from the placenta. As we said, this is the red color, oxygen rich blood oxygenated. It is 80% saturated with oxygen, carried from the umbilical vein to the liver. In the liver, there is ductus venosus, blood from the umbilical vein will carry to the liver, and some will be mixed with the sinusoidal blood also, and other will be carried through the ductus venosus, will bypass directly the liver, or it will be overcome the liver to the inferior vena cava. And this is the oxygen poor blood. So blood in the lower part of the bodies and upper part of the bodies carried by these veins or are all oxygen poor blood. And here there are areas where there is mixing between oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. The heart contain mixed blood. The lower part of the bodies also, where the blood is carried out through the both two umbilical arteries back to the placenta. Okay? So fetal hemoglobin, it is called hemoglobin F. Fetal hemoglobin is called hemoglobin F. What is fetal hemoglobin? It is high oxygen affinity, more than adult blood. So the fetal hemoglobin F, to suck oxygen across the placenta to the fetal circulation. After birth, RBCs are replaced by another hemoglobin, the adult hemoglobin, or adult hemoglobin. So it will take about shifting of from the fetal blood hemoglobin F to adult hemoglobin. It will be takes about 2 weeks, and that's why baby after birth will develop jaundice, because of a breakdown of these RBCs that carried hemoglobin F, fetal hemoglobin. Shunts. What is shunt? In the cardiovascular development, there's what's called shunt. Shunts are area that allows the blood to flow from one place to another. The developing organs in the fetus, exactly the liver and the lungs, when the blood comes with the pressure, this pressure might damage these developing organs. So there are shunts to slow down the circulations. In the normal adult, there is right to left shunt. The blood from the right side of the heart will pass to the lungs, where the lung is aerated because we breathe. There is a breathing in the adult. Aeration allows to pulmonary circulations, which oxygenates the blood back to the left side of the heart. This is not the situation in the fetus. What's occurring in the ductus venosus explain what's occurring in the shunts. The blood, when it comes, as you see in the previous diagram, the red arrow is blood, the umbilical vein. It comes from the vein directly to the liver. Some of them will be mixing with the portal circulation, which allows some of the nutrient to be synthesized in the liver. Fetal liver is acting, it is functioning. Some proteins are synthesized. So the blood, and when reaches the pulmonary, the portal circulation, other blood will through the ductus venosus. It will bypass the liver, so it will protect the liver from the high pressures coming with the circulations. Here are some definitions of some important structures in the fetal circulation. The placenta, where exchange takes place during fetal life. Umbilical arteries carries deoxygenated blood from the fetus to the placenta. Umbilical vein, which brings oxygenated blood coming from the placenta to the fetus. Foramen ovale, which connects the left and right atrium and pushes blood from the right atrium to the left atrium. And the ductus venosus, which carries oxygenated blood from the umbilical vein to the inferior vena cava, bypass the fetal liver. And the ductus arteriosus, which carries oxygenated blood from the pulmonary artery to the aorta and bypass the fetal lungs. This is the shunt, as we said. So these are very important structures. You have to know the function of each, and exactly these structures functions what's called the fetal circulations. Diagram exactly summarize what occur with the events of fetal circulation. Here's the placenta, where the blood is carried from the umbilical vein. The fetus, which this is 80% saturated blood, carries to the ductus venosus to the inferior vena cava, and in the inferior vena cava, the blood was mixing with the extremities, lower extremities of blood and kidneys to the right atrium. The right atrium parallel, acting both right and left atrium, acting parallel through the intercardiac opening, the foramen ovale, and extra cardiac shunts, the ductus arteriosus. Here, the fetal systemic circulations from the lower part of the body, which is carried deoxygenated blood back to the umbilical arteries through the placenta to remove the waste product. And thank you. Thank you. If you have any questions, please send a comment.